Hello students, today we are going to do RR of Standard 6th and the name of the topic is Optimism, the Man by the Window. So students, before moving on to the explanation, I would like to ask you a few questions. Do you share your problems with your friends? And I hope your answer is yes. It is yes because we all share our problems with our friends. Because when we share our problems, it helps to free our mind. And if we will not share our problems, it will affect our mental health. And do you feel happy when you help your friends? Yes, we feel happy when we help our friends because it gives us a satisfaction when we help our friends. Students, this story is about two men who were seriously ill. And one of the men was so positive that he wanted that his another roommate, who was the patient, should always be positive and should be always happy in his life. So now let's begin with the story. There were two men, both seriously ill, who shared the same hospital room. One man got a seat next to the room's only window. That man was also allowed to sit up in his bed for an hour each afternoon. He used to sit each afternoon because he had to help him drain fluids from his lungs. And the another man had to spend all his time lying flat on his back because his back was fractured. The two roommates quickly bonded and started talking for hours on end. They talked about their lives, their jobs, children's, and wives. Every afternoon, the man near the window started describing all the things he could see outside the window. He described ducks and the swans playing in the water, children sailing their model boats, people walking along the paths, and he explained about the grand old trees and their landscape. As the man by the window started describing the scene outside, the other man would close his eyes and try to imagine it. Now, the man on the other bed began to live for those 1 hour where he could hear and visualize the world outside the hospital room. The 1 hour of every day would make his life happy. One afternoon, the man by the window described a parade passing by. Although the other man could not hear the band, he could visualize it as the man by the window. Days and weeks passed by. One day, a thought came to the other man. He was thinking, why the men by the window have the pleasure to see everything? While thinking, he felt jealous. And as the days passed, the jealousy turned in the unfair treatment. He thought it was not fair that the man by the window is watching everything and he can't. When these types of thoughts came, he didn't felt like eating and his backache also started. Late one night, the other man was not able to sleep. He was staring at the ceiling and he noticed that the man by the window started coughing. He was choking on the fluids in the lungs. The other man was the struggling man by the hospital window, and the nurse and the doctors came, but they were not able to save the man, and the man by the window died that night. The next day, the man on the back asked the nurse to shift him by the window. He wanted to see the scene by himself, so he asked the nurse to shift him by the window. The nurse happily made the arrangement. As soon as the man was comfortable on his new bed, the man slowly and painfully sat to take his first look at the world outside the window. The nurse delightfully watched the man attempted to sit on the bed after weeks. But as he slowly turned to look out of the window, he was shocked. He was shocked to see a blank wall outside the window. He said to the nurse, "There is nothing to see from here." Where all the wonderful things the man by the window had seen had gone. He had described everything so minutely that he had imagined all the things. He asked the nurse, "Is this a new and a recent wall? Why did he give me such minute details that don't exist?" He asked the nurse again and again. The nurse shook her head and answered his questions. She said, "Perhaps he just wanted to encourage you and make you happy. Because when you were brought to the hospital, there was no recovery. Because you had no hope. You believed that you couldn't get up, but your friend's description gave you hope to see the beautiful world and desire to lead a normal life and see the change in yourself. Now you can sit by yourself and you can face all the difficulties in your life by yourself." So students, the moral of the story, The Man by the Window, is that it is our choice to keep positive attitude towards life. Circumstances are just part of life. Despite of a situation, we should make others happy. And when we'll make others happy, we'll be happy. Gems. Optimism means looking at the bright side of things, being hopeful about the future, expecting that good things will happen. An optimist has positive thoughts. Positive thoughts help us win. Positive thoughts leads to self-confidence. Positive people always encourage and support others. Suggestions. I am always hopeful. I always look at the positive side of every person and every situation. And the last one, I can win and I will win. Thank you.